What is good, boys? In this video, I'm gonna be telling you how you can make friends while traveling, more specifically in like the party scene. If you're going somewhere for like a weekend and you're going out to some clubs and you want to be able to make friends, because if you're in a situation like me where you've started to make good money online and you don't have people you can travel with, your friends aren't at that level yet, they don't have that type of money to do, just quick trips to different cities, and you still want to do things and you're not gonna let the fact that other people aren't going to come with you hold you back, then this is the video for you. Because since about 19 years old, I've been moving around between a couple different places. My family has a home in Florida, New York, and Sweden. So I commonly move around and I have to make new friends to every place I go. And then even right now I'm in Sweden. I have made plenty of friends in this hometown. I came here starting 3 years ago knowing absolutely no one. And now I know pretty much, it's a small city, but I know pretty much everyone who goes out, nearly everyone. So I've made friends with a lot of people, but I also want to expand into other cities. There's neighboring cities, one that's an hour north. That's a really fun student city. There's one that's 2 hours south. And I can go to these cities completely by myself and make new friends right off the bat. I'll have friends before I even go into the club. So really what it comes down to is, one, you got to be a happy, smiley, friendly person. If you're going up to people and you're serious and it's not, you need to come with very relaxed, loose energy. You need to go up to them. I mean, I when I go out, I drink. If you're going out, you're probably drinking. So you want to just come up, feeling loose, fun, happy. And you go up to people and it's really not that complicated. There's three things that I do when I talk to new people. So the first thing is I always just ask them their name, right? Excuse me, what's your name? That's how I start off pretty much every conversation, guy or girl. Another thing I'll do is I'll start off with an environmental question. So if I'm somewhere new in a new city, I don't know people, and I actually need to find out some sort of information, I'll ask people an environmental question. I'll even ask the same environmental question multiple times if I'm just trying to meet people and break down that ice a little bit. Say if it's like a group and you don't want to single out one person, but you want to kind of start talking to that group, a super easy way to do this is be like, excuse me, I'm new to the area. Do you know what time the club opens, or where's like a good pregame spot to go to? Are you going to head to, if you're heading to Rex later, like what's a good spot to go to first? Just little things like that. That's one of the clubs is Rex in that city. That's one of the questions I asked like a couple weeks ago. But an environmental question will allow you to break into a bigger group, whereas just asking someone's name is going to be smaller, like one or two people. So that's how you break down that ice. And then from there, it just comes very simple. I mean, if you're traveling and you're doing things and you're an interesting person, it shouldn't be too hard. Pretty much every single conversation I have, I started with the two basic things. I took all the guesswork out of it, and from there, it just flows, and you can see the level of interest that this person has in having this conversation, and you can either pursue it and take it further, or you can drop it and find someone else who actually wants to talk. It's really that simple. That's how I make friends. And what happens from there is you don't necessarily need to latch on to everyone you meet, but the more people you talk to, say you talk to like 10 people, 5 different groups, all these people that and they're all going to the same club, you're going to see them throughout the night. They're probably going to be cool. They'll like dab you up, say, hey, what's up, bro? And I tell you, this is how I've met so many girls. Of course, I talk to girls earlier on in the night as well, and that always leads to, good things as well. But talking to guys has the biggest return on investment for girls, because a lot of the times, if you're in a smaller city per se, like if you're in New York, it's going to be kind of hard to use this strategy. But if you're in a smaller city and you befriend some guys, they probably know girls in this town that are out that night that they can introduce you to at a later point. So if you befriend them early on, they think you're cool. Later on, you see them, they're talking to some girls, they're going to introduce you. And if you're, for example, I'm a foreigner in Sweden, people love meeting a foreigner. It's super cool to them. So they're like, oh, meet my American friend. And I've met thousands, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of girls by just being social, talking to guys first, and then them introducing me later to girls. It's the easiest move in the playbook. So I've been giving you some strategies in terms of how to break down the ice, in terms of like first getting social when you're somewhere. If you're solo, it's really easy. I mean, you need to start being social from the second you get there. If you're on a train and you see someone, you talk to them starting on the train. If you're walking to the club, you see people, you talk to them when you're walking to the club. If you're on the line, you get the point. You're constantly talking to people. You shouldn't be trying to wait for the perfect moment. You should just break down that barrier. The more you start talking, the more social you'll be for the entire night. It's just how it works. So now what do you do if you know, don't have anyone to hang out with, right? That's kind of a big fear in some people's minds. And it even something that I feel sometimes when I go to a city by myself and there's no one who I'm per se talking to at this moment. Because of course, sometimes you'll get invited into a friend group and then you have people to hang out with, or you end up chilling with a girl who's really cool and you end up hanging out with her for most of the night. So things like that always happen. But there's going to be times when, you know, no one's inviting you in, and you never want to force yourself into a group. That's one thing you never want to do. You never want to have to force anything, only let it come naturally. But say if you're by yourself, I want you to remember one thing, and that's that everyone here is most likely drunk, and second is everyone's so self-centered. They're so worried about themselves the same way that you are. They're not thinking about someone who's standing somewhere. Like, just say if you don't know where to go at this moment and you're just going to go grab a drink and you're standing at the bar by yourself and there's no one per se to talk to at this moment. No one cares. That's the thing, is no one is thinking about the fact that you're standing here. They don't know if your friend's at the bathroom or if you're just grabbing a drink and your friends are at the table. No one knows what situation you are in. The only person that knows that you're alone is you, and the only person that really cares is you. No one cares if you come to the club alone, and if you tell people this, in my personal experience, the respect you get from people 10x's. Everyone, especially in Sweden where I'm at now, says, "Oh my God, I would never go to the club alone. I could never do that. And, you know, they say all these things, and I'm like, oh, well, mad respect for coming to the club alone. I really admire that." And it's the same thing in the U.S. I hear this all the time. In the U.S., I more commonly will get invited to join a friend group, though. That's something I notice different. Of course, here, it's the same way, but a lot of times you meet many different groups in one night and you don't necessarily stick with one of them. So you got to realize that every culture is different, that what works in one place is not necessarily going to work in the other. You need to be very fluid and adaptable to different cultures. If you're traveling and you're going to a bunch of different places, what works in one spot might not necessarily work in another, but the general idea is always going to be the same, which is you just need to be social, talking to as many people as possible. You're going to meet different friend groups and talk to them. You're going to meet girls and talk to them. And if you're a guy, you're most likely trying to get a girl anyway. So that's the end goal of the night, is to get a girl that you're going to hang out with. So, I mean, it's really not that difficult. And it's honestly a lot of fun, because for me, I enjoy a challenge. And I see going out by myself as a challenge in many different aspects. One being that I was a shy, introverted kid growing up. It's a way to constantly prove myself and improve my social skills and challenge myself in that realm, push in my comfort zone. So that's the first thing. The second thing is just that it is a little uncomfortable to go out by yourself. So I prove to myself constantly that I can break down that comfort zone. So whilst I'm improving my social skills, I'm breaking down my comfort zone and any false limiting beliefs. And it's just a lot of fun as well once you actually start doing it and you start talking to a ton of people. Some of my best nights were solo nights, when I just ended up meeting a bunch of friend groups, talking to a bunch of different guys, talked to a bunch of girls, and end up going home with one. I mean, that's some of my best nights. So that's really what it's all about. If you want to start traveling and you don't want to wait for your friends to get up on your level, if you're starting to make good money online and you want to start doing things, don't be afraid to go out there and start traveling by yourself. You can have a bunch of fun while doing it. Even just starting small, going to a new city for like a night and you get a hotel, it can be a really fun experience. It's all about what's in the mind, what you believe. You can make anything happen, and you can make anything into a fun experience if you allow it to be. All right, that's all for this video. If you got any value from this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.